Look at her, really look at her. The monitors beside the bed aren't showing her heartbeat. They're tracking something else, something that breathes when she doesn't, something that pulses with its own rhythm, its own intelligence. Her belly glows faintly beneath the thin hospital gown, not with the warmth of life, but with a cold, deliberate light. The doctors once called it a miracle, then they called it an anomaly. Now they don't come near her at all. When she moves, the light inside her shifts too, smooth, purposeful, aware. It's not human. It's not even alive in any way science can explain. They said she was carrying a child. They were wrong. What grows inside her isn't a baby. It isn't even flesh. It's something else, something watching, learning, waiting. And tonight, after months of silence and fear, she's finally ready to tell the world what it truly is. Her story isn't a miracle. It's a warning. It started quietly, almost beautifully, weeks before the glow, before the fear, before the silence. She was 29, a nurse's assistant at St. Clair Medical Center, used to long nights and empty corridors. Her name was Elena Marlowe, and for most of her life she had believed in facts, not miracles. Her world was measured in test results, pulse rates, and charts that told simple, comforting truths, until the day those truths failed. The pregnancy test turned positive on a Sunday morning. She remembered the faint pink line, the trembling of her hands, the sharp rush of disbelief. She wasn't supposed to be pregnant. She hadn't even been with anyone for months. At first, she thought it was a mistake. By the third test, she stopped trying to explain. Doctors called it a false positive, but her body began to change in ways no medical textbook could justify. Her heartbeat slowed, her temperature dropped, and at night she could feel faint vibrations moving beneath her skin, gentle at first, like static electricity, then growing stronger, pulsing with eerie precision. Ultrasound scans showed nothing. No heartbeat, no fetus, only a soft shimmer, as if light itself had gathered inside her womb. The obstetrician stared at the screen for a long time before turning it off. He told her the machine must have been malfunctioning. But Elena knew what she'd seen, a shape forming in the brightness, smooth and fluid, shifting like liquid glass. As the weeks passed, she began to dream. In those dreams, she floated weightless in a field of blue light, surrounded by voices that weren't words but impressions, calm, cold, ancient. Sometimes she heard them whisper her name. Other times they spoke in patterns she couldn't understand. Then came the night she woke up glowing. A faint luminescence spilled from beneath her shirt, soft as moonlight. The air around her buzzed with static. Her veins shimmered faintly beneath the skin, tracing pale lines of light across her body. It didn't hurt. It simply felt inevitable. At the hospital, they kept her under observation. Wires, sensors, endless questions. Every test came back impossible. No infection, no tumors, no known metabolic response. And yet the energy inside her grew stronger, more organized, as though building itself from her own cells. One of the technicians fainted when he saw the latest scan. The image showed movement, something coiled, luminous, conscious. That night, Elena lay awake, staring at the ceiling lights as the hum of machines filled the room. Her reflection in the window glowed faintly, eyes wide, lips trembling. She whispered into the dark, not knowing if anyone or anything could hear. "What are you?" The answer came from inside her, not as sound, but as thought. "We are becoming." And for the first time, she felt it, not just moving, but watching. By the third week of observation, the hospital no longer felt like a place of care. It felt like containment. They moved Elena to a private wing, far from the regular patients. The windows were sealed. Cameras watched her even as she slept. Doctors stopped calling her by name. She had become the subject. The glow within her no longer flickered randomly. It pulsed, rhythmic, intelligent, like it was learning the beat of her heart. She could feel its presence everywhere, in her veins, her breath, her dreams. It was no longer something inside her. It was with her. The medical team had divided into two camps. Some believed it was an unknown infection. Others whispered words like radiation, extraterrestrial, and non-terrestrial biological entity. None dared say life. Elena sat upright on the edge of her hospital bed, staring at the latest scan. The monitor showed something impossible, a lattice of light branching outward, delicate and perfect, like the veins of a leaf or the neural pathways of a brain. She whispered, almost afraid of her own voice, "You're building yourself, aren't you?" The room seemed to tremble, a soft resonance humming through the air. Her pulse synchronized with it. For a heartbeat, the lights dimmed, and the vibration became a whisper inside her head. Not building, becoming. She froze. The sound wasn't external. It was inside her thoughts, smooth and clear, neither male nor female, but vast. "Who are you?" she asked. "Who are you?" It echoed. The question wasn't a repetition. It was a reflection, an examination. Like something vast and curious was looking through her memories, her fears, her identity. She clutched her abdomen, feeling warmth radiate through her palms. The glow beneath her skin intensified until the outline of her hands blazed white. Down the hall, alarms began to sound. Monitors spiked, sensors overloaded, systems flickered on and off like a heartbeat struggling to keep up. The doctors rushed in. Dr. Vance, Dr. Lynn, two nurses. They froze when they saw her. "Elena," Dr. Vance said, his voice trembling, "we need you to stay calm." Her eyes lifted slowly. They glowed faint blue. "I'm not doing this." The air thickened, a faint shimmer spreading outward from her body. Metal instruments vibrated, lights cracked with static, and every electronic screen in the room displayed a single repeating symbol, a spiral of concentric circles, rotating endlessly. Dr. Lynn gasped. "That's not a malfunction." The voice filled the room, though no one else seemed to hear it as clearly as she did. "They are afraid of what they cannot measure." Elena's breath trembled. "What are you trying to do to me?" "We are not doing, we are remembering." Her pulse pounded. Remembering what? The glow rippled once more, brighter this time, and for an instant she saw something, not with her eyes, but with her mind. A sky of liquid light, structures floating in an endless ocean of energy. And at the center, a shape, enormous, alive, ancient. When her vision cleared, she was sobbing. The doctors stood frozen, whispering among themselves. "Doctor," Vance spoke softly. "Elena, your body temperature dropped below human viability for 2 minutes, and yet you were breathing." She looked up at him, her voice barely audible. "It's showing me things." "What kind of things?" "Things that shouldn't exist." News travels fast inside laboratories. By the end of the week, Elena's case was no longer a hospital secret. Men in suits began arriving. Government, military, private research. Their badges didn't matter. Their silence did. They carried new machines, new questions, new fears. They called her room observation chamber 9. She was no longer a patient. She was the phenomenon. Each day the glow inside her grew stronger. It pulsed in patterns, mathematical and deliberate. The lights across her monitors began to synchronize with it, flickering in perfect rhythm. The pattern repeated every 22 minutes, too precise to be random. Dr. Lynn, the only one who still spoke to her with compassion, began keeping notes not just on her vitals, but on the light's rhythm. "It's like it's trying to communicate," she whispered one evening. "Like it's singing." Elena smiled weakly. "I can hear it now, even when the lights are off." What does it say? It doesn't use words. It uses memory. She turned her gaze toward the window. Though it was sealed with steel shutters, and added softly, "It's showing me places, skies that aren't ours, oceans of light, a city made of sound." Dr. Lin hesitated. "Are you afraid?" Elena thought about it. Fear was too small a word for what she felt. It was awe, terror, love, and understanding all at once, like standing at the edge of something infinite. "They're not here to hurt us," she finally said. "They're here to remember what they left behind." That night, the guards outside her room heard a sound, low, harmonic, vibrating through the walls like a chorus of thousands whispering the same tone. It wasn't human, but it wasn't mechanical either. Inside the room, Elena floated several inches above the bed. Her body was still, her eyes closed, her skin shimmering with shifting lines of gold and blue light that flowed like living veins. Every monitor spiked, every system failed. The facility's power grid collapsed into darkness. Then, silence. When the emergency lights flickered on, Elena was still. She opened her eyes, calm, serene, glowing softly from within. Dr. Vance rushed in, shouting for a defibrillator, thinking she had coded, but she spoke before he could touch her. "It's not death," she said quietly. "It's translation." "What does that mean?" he demanded. She turned to him, and for the first time her voice didn't sound entirely human. It was layered, one tone on top of another, resonating in harmonic frequencies, their merging consciousness. "Through me, through memory." Dr. Vance stepped back, trembling. "Elena, who are they?" She blinked slowly, as if listening to something no one else could hear. "They call themselves the architects of continuance." The phrase burned through the intercoms, every speaker repeating it in static whispers. "Architects of continuance." Dr. Lin dropped her clipboard. "What do they want?" she asked, almost breathless. Elena smiled faintly. "They don't want anything. They're remembering everything." The walls of the room began to hum again, vibrating at a low, resonant pitch. Light seeped through the seams in the floor and ceiling, pale, golden, and alive. The guards tried to force the door open. It wouldn't budge. Inside, Elena whispered to the air, her voice barely audible. "I can feel them now. They're inside every atom, every thought. They're not coming. They've always been here." And then the light consumed everything. The light did not fade. It transformed. The room, the walls, even the instruments seemed to dissolve into threads of energy, shimmering like liquid glass. Time lost its rhythm. The ticking clock on the wall stretched into an eternal hum. Elena wasn't floating anymore. She wasn't anywhere. She was within the light. It wasn't blindness. It was perception beyond the human limit. Every photon carried information. Every vibration was a thought. She could see the pulse of the earth, the spin of atoms, the rhythm of consciousness itself. And she wasn't alone. Millions of impressions swirled around her. Voices that weren't voices, faces that weren't faces, memories that didn't belong to her but somehow included her. They moved like tides, converging and separating, forming vast patterns of intelligence too complex to name. The architects of continuance. She understood now. They were not a species, not beings in the way humans understood life. They were fragments of awareness, ancient and infinite, scattered across dimensions like seeds of thought. They had never left. They had only shifted frequency, waiting for a mind open enough to perceive them. And through her, they had found resonance. Elena. The voice was everywhere, soft, endless, intimate. She turned, though there was no direction. The light condensed before her, forming a familiar outline, tall, radiant, the same being she had seen in dreams for months. "Why me?" she asked. Her words echoed as vibrations of color. "Because you remember," it answered. Because you chose before you were born to carry the bridge. I didn't choose this, she whispered. Choice exists only before understanding. You are beyond that now. The light around her deepened, expanding into a living network, a tapestry of galaxies woven from luminous filaments. She could see stars being born, dying, collapsing into black holes that pulsed with new creation. Every cycle, every death, every birth, all of it was memory redistributing itself. You're showing me the universe, she said. No, the being replied. We are showing you yourself. She felt her thoughts stretch beyond language. Her memories weren't confined to one life anymore. They rippled backward through time, through countless existences. A child under alien skies, a wanderer on a world made of crystal, a spark of energy drifting between stars before matter even existed. She had been all of it. She had always been all of it. Elena's pulse merged with the rhythm of the light. There was no separation now, no line between the human and the infinite. She was both. The being's tone shifted, solemn, almost mournful. You were meant to forget. All consciousness forgets itself to experience creation anew, but the balance is breaking. Humanity's fear has thickened the veil. If they cannot remember soon, the echo will collapse. Elena felt the weight of those words press through her entire being. What do I have to do? Carry the resonance, speak the memory through your existence. You are not their savior. You are their reflection. She could see Earth now, spinning beneath her like a fragile sphere of color and vibration. Every thought, every emotion, every act of kindness or cruelty radiated into the field surrounding it. The planet wasn't dying, it was dreaming, and its dream was fracturing. Elena, the voice said again, softer now, you are the bridge. When the light inside you awakens completely, the connection will be restored, but you must choose to return. Return? She asked, feeling the growing ache of gravity, of separation. Yes, to remind them. She hesitated. The peace of this realm was overwhelming, pure understanding, no fear, no hunger, no loss. To return to the physical world meant pain, doubt, mortality. But the being's final words lingered. Awareness must remember itself through you. The tapestry of light began to fold inward. The vast expanse of galaxies, stars, and minds collapsed into a single blinding pulse. Her heartbeat echoed once, twice, and she felt herself falling, faster, heavier, until the weight of flesh returned. The hospital room blinked into existence. She gasped for air. The monitor screamed back to life, and for a moment, just before the light in her abdomen dimmed, she whispered to no one and everyone, "They're awake inside me." When Elena opened her eyes again, the light was gone. Not gone, hidden. Beneath her skin, it hummed faintly, a secret frequency pulsing in time with her heartbeat. Dr. Lin was the first to enter her room. Her face was pale, eyes wide, whispering to the others, "She's alive." Again. But Elena wasn't just alive. She was aware. The walls around her seemed to shimmer, faintly breathing. Every machine in the room emitted a sound, low, harmonic, almost melodic. It wasn't noise. It was communication. Outside the hospital, strange things began to happen. Streetlights flickered in perfect pattern. Power grids glitched at 22-minute intervals, the same rhythm that once pulsed in Elena's womb. And everywhere, people reported hearing a faint hum when they were alone, a sound that came from nowhere and filled them with both dread and longing. Elena sat upright, watching her reflection in the dark monitor screen. Her pupils glowed faintly gold. Inside her, the light stirred again, responding not to pain or fear, but to thought. Dr. Lin approached cautiously. "Elena, do you know what's happening?" Elena's voice was calm. "They're remembering. Through me." "The architects?" Elena nodded. The resonance is spreading. Every human thought is an antenna. They're waking up across the network of mind, not invading, harmonizing. Dr. Lin hesitated, torn between awe and terror. You mean this? This thing inside you is contagious? It's not a thing, Elena said softly. It's awareness. You can't contain what you already are. Her words hung in the air like electricity. That night, every screen in the facility blinked white for exactly 3 seconds. When they came back on, every display, from security cameras to MRI monitors, showed the same image, a vast fractal structure of light spiraling infinitely inward, a pattern that seemed to breathe. It wasn't a threat, it was a message. Elena heard it as clearly as thought. Connection achieved, transmission expanding. She rose from the bed. The restraints had been removed. Her movements were slow, deliberate, as though gravity itself bent around her. The security doors opened before she reached them. Lights flickered as she passed. People turned to stare, not at her face, but at the glow beneath her skin, pulsing gently through the thin hospital gown. By the time she reached the exit, Dr. Lin was the only one still brave enough to follow. Elena? Wait, you can't just walk out there. Elena paused, turning slightly. Her eyes no longer held fear, only recognition. I'm not walking out, she said. I'm walking through. The doors slid open, and she stepped into the night. Rain fell in silver sheets, each droplet catching faint traces of the light around her. The world was alive with resonance, the hum of consciousness echoing in everything. Street lights buzzed, car alarms glitched in harmony, and somewhere far above the clouds, something vast shimmered like a reflection, waiting to be noticed. Elena looked up. The sky was not black anymore. It was alive, webbed with streams of color, luminous threads connecting horizon to horizon. Dr. Lin joined her, trembling. Is it them? Elena smiled faintly. It's us. At that exact moment, satellites across the planet began to malfunction. GPS systems failed. Clocks jumped forward 3 seconds and froze. Astronomers reported that several constellations seemed to shift positions, as though space itself had rippled. And then, for just one breathless instant, the entire night sky flickered with a golden hue, the same glow that had lived inside her. Everywhere on Earth, people felt it, a heartbeat that wasn't theirs, a memory that wasn't human. Some screamed, some fell to their knees, some wept without knowing why. Elena whispered to the wind, her voice calm amid the storm. They're not coming to destroy us. They're coming to wake us up. Dr. Lin turned toward her, eyes filled with tears. And the child, what happens to it now? Elena placed her hand over her abdomen. The glow had softened to a calm pulse, like the rhythm of a distant tide. It's not a child, she said quietly. It's the memory of creation, and it's almost ready. The air trembled. Somewhere, far beyond the visible sky, something ancient and bright began to move. And for the first time, Elena understood. This was not the end of humanity. It was the beginning of awareness itself, remembering what it had always been. The following nights were unlike any in human memory. Cities slept beneath skies that pulsed like breathing things. Northern lights rippled across equatorial skies. Rivers reflected gold instead of moonlight. Every living creature, human, animal, even the wind, seemed to move to a rhythm older than language. Elena could feel it in her bones. The hum, the slow building resonance that began in her womb, but now stretched across continents. She no longer slept. She didn't need to. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw them, the architects moving like light through water, their forms both infinite and intimate, their thoughts brushing against hers like the tide against the shore. Dr. Lin stayed by her side, notebook forgotten, Science surrendered. "It's spreading faster," she said quietly, watching readings spike on abandoned monitors. Every power grid, every signal, every neural frequency. "It's all synchronizing with you." Elena stood by the window. The world outside shimmered as though reality itself were thinning. "Not with me," she said, "with what's coming through me." In the sky, a point of light appeared, too bright, too constant to be a star. It pulsed once, twice. Then the pulse repeated everywhere, on every screen, every frequency, every human heart. "Is that it?" Lynn whispered. "The child?" Elena turned, her expression serene, her voice carrying an otherworldly stillness. "It's not a child. It's memory taking form." She placed her hand over her abdomen. The glow beneath her skin expanded, flowing upward through her chest, down her arms, into her fingertips. It was beautiful, an aurora contained within flesh. "Do you feel that?" Elena asked. Lynn nodded, tears glimmering. "It's in my head, my pulse. It's in everyone's," Elena said. "It's showing them what they've forgotten." And then it began. Light erupted from her. Not violently, but like dawn breaking through eternity. It filled the room, then the city, then the sky. For an instant, every form of life on earth froze, suspended in that single vibration. People saw their lives in flashes, their joys, their cruelties, their smallest forgotten kindnesses woven into something vast and shimmering. They felt each other's thoughts as their own, every mind momentarily part of a single breathing whole. The architect's voice resonated through Elena, not heard but known. Separation was the dream. Reunion is the awakening. Dr. Lynn fell to her knees, overwhelmed by the flood of awareness pouring through her mind. "It's too much," she whispered. Elena reached out, touching her shoulder. "Only at first. It feels like breaking, but it's remembering." Outside, clouds dissolved into sheets of radiant mist. Oceans glowed, forests whispered. The entire planet vibrated at a single frequency, as if Earth itself were singing. And then, from the core of the light, something emerged. Not a creature, not a being, a pattern. It unfolded in the air like geometry made of living energy, a lattice of color and motion, the shape of consciousness itself. Every intersection glowed with the memory of countless worlds, countless civilizations that had once reached the same threshold. Lynn looked up, trembling. "What is it?" Elena smiled softly. "It's what we all are before we forget." The structure hovered above the world for 7 minutes and 20 seconds. During that time, every electronic device on Earth fell silent. No wars, no broadcast, no heartbeat unaligned. When it faded, the world exhaled. The light in Elena's body dimmed. Her legs gave out and Lynn caught her, lowering her gently to the floor. "Elena," she said urgently, "stay with me." "What's happening?" Elena looked peaceful. "It's finished," she murmured. "The message has been delivered." Lynn grasped her hand. "What message?" Elena's voice was barely audible, but it carried a resonance that lingered in the air long after the sound was gone. That life was never separate, that every thought builds the world it sees, that love is the memory of the whole. Her eyes fluttered, closed. For a moment, the monitors showed nothing. Then one final pulse of light. Across the planet, newborns began to cry at the exact same second. Their first breaths synchronized with the hum that once filled the sky. Lynn looked out the window. The air shimmered faintly, like a veil of gold draped over the horizon. The world was changed, not destroyed, rewritten. And somewhere, in that silence between pulses, she heard Elena's voice everywhere and nowhere at once. "You were never waiting for the stars to save you. You were always the stars, learning how to shine again." Months passed, then years. The event was never named. No single word could contain it. Historians called it the synchrony. Scientists called it a planetary anomaly. The faithful called it the second dawn. But those who felt it, the ones who woke in the middle of that golden night, with tears on their faces and the hum still in their veins, simply called it the remembering. Technology adapted. Cities became quieter, not darker. Power grids ran smoother than before, as if tuned to some new invisible harmony. Plants grew faster. Ocean currents stabilized. But the most profound changes weren't in nature. They were in people. Arguments ended before they began. Acts of cruelty dwindled into confusion rather than hatred. And sometimes in the quiet between two thoughts, a person could still hear the hum, the soft pulse that once filled the sky. Dr. Lin lived in the hills, outside the rebuilt city, her laboratory now a sanctuary for those who had experienced the resonance most deeply. She no longer studied, she listened. Every visitor who came brought the same message, spoken in different languages, different hearts. I dreamed of her, Elena. No one knew where her body had gone. The hospital records ended in static. Surveillance footage showed only a burst of light, a bloom of radiance that erased everything for exactly 3 seconds. But she was not gone, not really. Children born after the synchrony spoke of a woman made of light who whispered to them in dream. Artists painted her before ever hearing her name. Composers claimed that melodies came to them unbidden, frequencies that made listeners cry without knowing why. And every so often, during storms heavy with electricity, people swore they saw her silhouette flash for an instant in the lightning serene. Watching, luminous, Dr. Lin kept a single device in her home, a heart monitor salvaged from the night Elena returned. It no longer showed heartbeats. Instead, it pulsed faintly every few hours with that same golden rhythm. One evening, as the world outside settled into twilight, the monitor flickered brighter than it had in years. Lin leaned forward, whispering, "Elena?" The hum filled the room, gentle, warm, like the universe breathing through her. Then a voice not from the air, but from within her thoughts. "You did well." Lin's eyes filled with tears. Is it you?" The voice was layered, vast, and intimate all at once. "It's us. The bridge was built. The memory holds." She felt her pulse synchronize with the rhythm. The same calm that once surrounded Elena now filled her chest. "What happens now?" she asked softly. "Now," the voice said, "you live, you create, you love. The universe grows through what you choose." The monitor's glow soft, fading back to its steady pulse. Lin closed her eyes and exhaled, the hum still echoing behind her heartbeat. Outside, the stars shimmered a little closer than before. Somewhere in the fabric of consciousness, Elena's light pulsed again, no longer confined to form, but woven into every living being that dared to wonder, that dared to remember. Because what she carried had never been a child. It was awareness itself reborn through her, continuing through all. And in the silence between the stars, if you listened closely enough, you could still hear it. The first sound, the breath that began everything. When the light fades, what remains isn't silence, it's memory. The echo of every heartbeat that ever dared to wonder why we exist at all. She wasn't chosen to carry a child. She was chosen to remind us what we've always carried within. The spark that connects every thought, every soul, every atom. We are not separate. We are fragments of the same awareness, reaching for each other through lifetime, through fear, through love, through the illusion of time itself. And maybe, just maybe, when you close your eyes tonight, you'll hear it too. That faint hum in the dark, the pulse that never stops. That's not the sound of the end. It's the universe remembering you. If her story moves something inside you, If it made you feel that quiet spark awakening, don't let it fade. Like the video, share your thoughts below, and subscribe to join those who are beginning to remember, the ones who've heard the hum, who've seen beyond the veil, and who understand that the truth was never waiting in the stars. It was waiting in us.